I had this deep sense of peace just wash over me, almost like a warm blanket. I grew up a member of a different church, and as a child, I was certain that members of the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints were not, they weren't on the right path. And so I would get in these arguments with some of my friends who were members of the church. And at one point, my friend Matt, he came to me and he said, "Listen, I've read the Book of Mormon and I've prayed to know if it's true. And have you done that?" I said, "No." And he said, "Well, you need to do that before we can have any more arguments." So he gave me a copy of the Book of Mormon, and I threw it in my sock drawer and I tried not to think about it. And then one day after school, his older brother invited me over to read the Book of Mormon with them. And so I went over to their house and we knelt down to pray. And my friend Matt offered this prayer, and it was a very simple prayer, and I remember it to this day. He asked that the Holy Spirit would be there to witness to all of us whether or not the Book of Mormon was true. And that struck me that he didn't say reveal to my ignorant friend or anything like that, right? He said reveal to all of us. And as he offered that prayer, I had this deep sense of peace just wash over me, almost like a warm blanket. To put that in context, my life was not peaceful at that time. There was a lot of turmoil in my house as a child, a lot of pain and suffering and difficulty. And so there was really never any peace at home. And so to suddenly, almost inexplicably, regardless of my circumstance, just have this peace that I'd really only felt maybe one time before in my life come over me, I knew that this was something special. This was something different. I continued to read the Book of Mormon. I knew that my parents, when they found out that I was reading it, that they'd probably freak out and take it away from me. And so I would read it by the light of my alarm clock. And I would be in bed and I just devoured this book. And as I read it, I felt the goodness inside of it. I think that was the real key. I'd read the Bible and I'd grown up with the Bible, and I knew that it was good. And so to be reading the Book of Mormon and to be experiencing that same goodness from a different book was transformative. And eventually I knew that I was being called, God was calling me to become a member of the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints. The contrast between, feeling this just deep sense of peace when I was reading the Book of Mormon to the absolute lack of peace in my house was very dramatic. And this went on for a few months until finally my parents asked me to leave. So 17 years old at the time, I packed a duffel bag and I was out. A year later, on my 18th birthday, I had all 6 missionary discussions and was baptized on the same day. Experience the fruit of the gospel. See if it is good. Continue to drive forward. Recognize that the church isn't here just to serve you, but you are here to bring your goodness to all of us. The purpose of the church is to connect us to each other and connect us to God. And we will be less if you leave. Every single major decision that I've made in my life has been guided by the power of prayer. Everything good in my life, everything can be traced back to a simple prayer in a 16-year-old's living room. I've learned through that process that God is real. He's wildly real, and He's extremely present. He cares about the individual. He deeply cares about the individual, and He wants us desperately to experience His love and His peace. That love is found only through the gospel of Jesus Christ and experiencing Jesus Christ in your life, I know that He is real. He's changed my life. When you look at the trajectory of my life, logically speaking, up to that point, it was nothing but a dead end. It was going nowhere. The only difference was that prayer and the way that He's led me since then.